welcome back to Teacher Tom's YouTube channel. Velkommen tilbake til Lærer Toms YouTube-kanal. I dag skal vi snakke litt om verb. Today we're going to talk about verbs. We're going to talk about irregular verbs and what that is, and I'll give you some examples of Norwegian irregular verbs. In Norwegian, we call those verbs sterke verb. Let's have a look at a few examples. As you can see here, we have sterke verb, which means irregular verbs in English. And we have svake, which is for another video, which means regular verbs. And the sterke verb, the irregular verbs, they normally have no ending in preteritum, in the past tense, and they very often also change vowel from, for example, A to E or E to I. I'll give you some examples about that as well. So the key tense to identify a irregular verb is preteritum, which is what we call the past tense in Norwegian. For example, something you did yesterday, you say, I went to school yesterday. In Norwegian, jeg gikk på skolen I går. So that's how we use it. And the first verb that I've written here is actually å gi, which means to give, or gi. And as always, the present tense, presens, is called presens in Norwegian. It's very easy. We just put an R at the end. But here comes the complication for the irregular verbs. There's no logic behind this next tense. We just have to know. So the bad news about the irregular verbs is that you just have to study them. You have to remember them in order to know what they sound like or how they're written in the past tense. So å gi, gir, to give, gives, or give if it's I or you or we, but in the past tense, ga, and in the present perfect tense, har gitt. So in English, this would be to give, give or gives, gave, have, given. The next verb is å få. For yesterday, fikk. Jeg fikk penger, money, yesterday, for example. And here it's har fått. I'm going to talk more about the difference between the past tense and the present perfect in another video. That's a topic for itself because it's a little bit complicated. And I remember 10-15 years ago when I went to university in Norway to study grammar in depth, the professor actually told us that there's no perfect explanation about the difference between what we call preteritum or presens perfectum. It's kind of difficult to define exactly what is the difference, but there is a difference, and we'll talk about that in a different video. So the next word here is å si, which means to say. And here it's not just R that we have to put insert at the end. It's sier, which means say or says. But yesterday, sa. Jeg sa noe I går. I said something yesterday. Jeg sa noe I går. Og presens perfektum har sagt. Å si, sier, sa, har sagt. Å komme, maybe you understand what that means. Å komme, to come, and it's kommer, but then in preteritum it is just come. So this word actually doesn't change the vowel, but it's very unique still because it has no ending and there's no logic behind why this particular word should just be come and not kommet or something like that. So there's no pattern to this. That's why it's an irregular verb. Men, but i presens perfektum har kommet. So then we're back to a normal variation of the word, a logical one. But this is one example of an irregular verb because you have to know the past tense. Du må vite. Du må vite, you have to know the past tense in order to get it right. There's no logic behind it. The next one, hjelpe. Hjelper. Hjelpe, it means help, to help. Yesterday, I går, hjalp. And here's a strange one. Har hjulpet. Hjulpet. You can say that. You can say hjulpet or you can say hjulpet. There are many different ways of saying that. Most people don't actually say that because Norwegian is, it consists of different dialects and no dialect is 100% the standard language, which in this case is bokmål. We have two languages, bokmål and nynorsk. So many people say, for example, hjelpi or hjelpt or hjelpa. There's so many variations, but the standard is hjulpet. So again, we see that the vowel is back to changing again from E to A. So these are 5 examples of irregular verbs. And the first one, å gi, gir, ga, har gitt. Here's the typical vowel change, and there is no ending. Ingen endelse. Og den bytter vokal. Bytter vokal means changes vowel. Bytter. Å få, får, fikk, har fått. Here we go from å, the Norwegian letter å, to I, and then back to å again. Å si, sier, sa, har sagt, from I to A. And here there's no vowel change, as I said, but there's a strange shortening of the word in the past tense without explanation. Hence, it's an irregular verb. And here again, å hjelpe, we go from E to A and then to U at the end here in the perfect tense. So the logic, there's no logic behind these words, so that's why you have to learn them. That's the bad news. I'll give you a couple of examples as well. Jeg gir penger til barna. It means jeg, give, gir, penger, money to the children, til barna. I give money to the children. Jeg ga, here's the past tense, preteritum. Jeg ga penger I går. I gave money yesterday. So it's kind of straightforward. You have to know which time the time perspective of the sentence, and you just insert the right one. And as I always say, verbs in Norwegian, you have to learn them, but they don't change. They have no relationship with the nouns or the pronouns in the sentence. They are exactly the same no matter who is doing the verb. So in that regard, it's easy, but of course, it's not easy to learn all of them, but it's much easier, for example, than in French and Spanish. I'll guarantee you that. Jeg får penger av mamma. I get money from mom or mommy or mama. I get money from mama. Jeg fikk penger i går. I got money yesterday. Jeg sier ingenting. I say nothing, or perhaps it would be more natural to say I am saying nothing in English, but just to not make it more complicated, I just use the normal present term in English. I say nothing, or he says nothing. Jeg sier ingenting, I say nothing. But yesterday, jeg sa ingenting. For example, i går, yesterday. Jeg kommer precis. Literally, it means I come precisely, or I come precise, or I come precisely. But yesterday, jeg kom precis i går. You would say on time, I guess in English. I came on time yesterday. Å hjelpe. Jeg hjelper andre hver dag. I help others, andre, others, hver dag. Every day. Jeg hjelper andre hver dag. I help others every day. In the past tense, jeg hjalp naboen i går. I helped my neighbor, or the neighbor. In Norwegian, we say the neighbor, not necessarily my neighbor. So there's no my in this sentence in Norwegian. If we wanted to have a my, we have to insert my after the noun. Jeg hjalp naboen min i går. So the literal translation would be I helped neighbor my yesterday, or the neighbor of mine. That's how we say it in Norwegian. So, but that's how we use the words in the present and the past tense, presens og preteritum. Once again, there's no rule to these irregular verbs. You just have to study them, remember them, and learn how to use them. So good luck on that, and I'll see you in another video.